Hello there, Coach Dave here, and I am with
Coach Deanna, who has some questions for Coach Dave today.
I'm nervous. I have no idea what we're about to talk about on this video.
We're talking about the Dave Buck philosophy of the spirit of play.
Wow, that's a big subject. Well, where do we want to begin?
I want you to tell me what the spirit of play means to you.
Yikes, that's a big question.
It is a big one.
Okay, well, first of all, the truth is that all human beings are born with the spirit of play. This is a scientific fact. All animals, in fact, have the spirit of play inside of them. And I feel that the spirit of play inside of human beings is the greatest untapped energy source in the world today. We talk about needing new sources of energy. Well, how about the human spirit of play? If we just had everyone in the world playing big rather than working on tasks and problems, we would have no more energy crisis. There would be more than enough energy to go around. And so the spirit of play is huge because it's a dynamic force within each one of us that has us become creative, resilient, resourceful, loving what we do, going for results, wanting to create new things, wanting to collaborate with other people. These are all the benefits of the spirit of play. And it's sitting here right inside of us and we're not using it. So I say, come on people, let's play.
So here's a question that I get from students all the time.
Yes.
And it is, game language does not resonate with me, and it will not resonate with my clients.
Yes, I hear this all the time.
I remember because I was one of those.
You were one of those. Well, you were the convert. I'll talk first about my point of view, and then I want to hear how you converted.
Okay,
all right?
Absolutely.
Okay, folks, here's the situation. Most people, when they think about game, they confuse it with sports. And that's because sports are so huge in our culture. We are sports obsessed. We've become so obsessed with other people playing. Now, why would this happen? Because we're actually yearning to play, but we're afraid we didn't know we were allowed to play ourselves. So we get obsessed with those few elite people who get to play for a living. But the big news is we all can play for a living if we choose to and learn how to do it. So that's number one. A lot of people confuse play and game with sports. It's not sports. Anything in life can be played as a game. Now, the reason it doesn't resonate with people is because each and every one of us was trained, indoctrinated, manipulated into the industrial economy and the notion that work is important and play is frivolous. This is not true. It's just a cultural phenomenon that came out of the industrial economy. The world needed people to go to work, go work in factories, go sit in cubicles. Like this was some global imperative. But guess what? That game is over. People are waking up. They don't want to sit in cubicles on meaningless jobs just to earn a living so they can buy more crap. Who needs all this crap, right? People are actually yearning to play. Why do you think there's 100 million people playing Farmville? Playing a pretend farm.
With pretend animals.
With pretend animals. 100 million people is not a little trend. That's a global phenomenon, okay? So the truth is, we've all been indoctrinated into work, and that's why when you first start talking about play, it sounds crazy because you were told if you want something, you need to work hard. And if your work is done, then you can play. But the work's never done, so you never really get to play. And when you're in school, you got to work hard, and then you get a job and you've got to work hard. The reason play doesn't resonate is because we were taught that work is better than play. But it's not true. And when you start realizing that, you experiment and try talking play, all of a sudden you realize, oh my goodness, I'm happier. I'm having more fun. I'm feeling more alive. And it's just as simple as changing your language patterns.
When I was the one who raised my hand and said, this doesn't work for me.
I remember it very well.
I was totally going to the sports thing, and there was something that you said in that class that got me thinking. And
What was it?
It was when you made an analogy to when I was a child.
Mm-hmm.
I remember you saying this. You said, oh, come on, Deanna. You've played games. Let's think back to when you were a kid. And I suddenly had this memory of what it was like to play when I was a child.
Mm.
And I would lose track of time, get completely involved.
Yes.
My mom would have to practically beg me to come in.
Exactly.
And I didn't want to. I didn't want to stop.
Because playing is fun.
Because playing is fun.
Right.
And I thought, oh my God, this is what he means. How do I make this happen in my own life?
Exactly. And that's what we're all about.
And that's magical.
It is magical. Another thing that does happen to some people is as you get a little older, maybe you're in a competition, right? Maybe you tried out for some team, or maybe you tried out for the band, or you were in a competition for some position in the choir or something, and you lost, and you're like, and you just say, that's it.
I'm never playing
I'm
again.
never playing again. And this has happened to people. And then so that gets into your mind. That becomes a pattern in your mind. But you can reverse that. You can change your mind.
The interesting thing is, when you're playing, sometimes losing's good.
Exactly. This is why people have to learn the paradox of play. The paradox of play goes like this. Unless you can lose, the game is not worth playing. And when you really play, you always win. Now that seems strange. It's two things that are the opposite. Well, that's what a paradox is, when two opposite things are both true. So what that means is, unless you can lose, there's nothing pulling you into the game with desire to want to play better, to want to achieve, to want to create, to want to find a way to do something better, right? That's the pull. The fear of losing actually pulls you. But the great thing about games is sometimes you win and sometimes you lose. That's the truth of any great game. However, that's what brings in the other side of the paradox, which is when you really play, you always win, because when you really play,
A loss is actually a win.
you can learn from it.
Absolutely.
Right? And you have the joy of the experience of playing, which is always a win, right? The joy of the experience. Win or lose, wow, I really gave it my all. I really played. That was awesome.
That was awesome.
And that's the paradox. You need the fear of losing, or at least the idea that you could lose, that pulls and sparks your desire. But then when you really play and you're fully present, that's always a win, because there's no greater joy than giving your heart and soul to something fully engaged, fully present. That's the ultimate life experience.
And that's what play is all about.
And that's what play is all about.
The ultimate life experience.
That's what I'm talking about, people. That's why spirit of play is so important.
And that answers a lot of the questions that students always bring up. And I think it answers it in a way that only you can do. And that's why we're doing this video.
That's why we're doing this video, people. So hopefully now you understand the power of the spirit of play.
So get out there and play big.
Yeah.